guess what? You're client number 151 to them. To me, you're client number one. I'm focusing all my time on you. To them, you're just another client, you're just another number. But to me, you're my priority. And having that way of thinking and actually delivering, not just talking it, but actually delivering it, is huge. And I think people start building a respect and trust with you. We have like tons of return customers because of that.
Rockstar Nation, thanks so much for listening. Don't forget to stay to the end, where our guests will be offering a free gift. As you know, all of our guests offer a free gift, and all of these gifts can be found on the Agent Success Toolbox. You could find that by going to hibandigital.com/toolbox or simply texting the word toolbox to 444-999. That's toolbox to 444-999. I am going to put today's free gift in today's show notes. But if you want all of them, including gifts from most of our guests that have come on the show, just go to the Agent Success Toolbox.
What's up, Real Estate Rockstar Nation? It's today's hosts, Matt O'Neill and Adam Roach.
What's up, Real Estate Rockstar Nation? Boy, do we have a special dude on the docket for today. Matt, who do we have? What's going on?
Today we have got $1 billion agent.
Billion.
Eric Benaim. He is selling $1 billion a year.
$1 billion a year. And what we're going to do on the podcast today is he's going to share with you how he's doing it. And Matt, man, what an incredible dude this guy is. Listen in, gang, because he's going to teach you all about how to build relationships with developers. And not only build these relationships with developers, but also help them understand the marketplace related to, his knowledge of the marketplace. Matt, it's so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's going to talk to you about how he's making $20 million a year in commissions and keeping $6 million a year in profit. One more thing, he taught us a secret script on how to beat the biggest agent in your market every time. Excited for today's day.
Super excited. Hey, you got to listen for that secret script. Pause the podcast, write it down, and then unpause it and keep listening to Eric because he crushes today's podcast.
So the big question is this: how do most agents who don't have access to the secrets that the top agents in our industry hoard to themselves grow and prosper in today's real estate environment? That's the question. And this video podcast is the answer. I'm Pat Hyben, and welcome to Real Estate Rockstars. Do the math. It's worth every single dollar. That's a title of a comment that I got on my certified listing agent course from Rebus University. It's from Bill Reeg. This is what Bill says. Bill says, looking to take your listing presentation to the next level? I've closed 100 appointments since I took Pat's certified listing agent course. 5 appointments, 5 new clients, 60 days. Boom, do the math. It's worth every single dollar. Thanks, Bill. But listen, guys, I am offering this to you if you haven't already taken it, because so many brokers and teams make their agents take it before they do a single listing appointment. But if you haven't taken it, you can go to rebusuniversity.com and get it now. Now, here's the thing. For 30 days, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you that course. I'm going to give you the buyer agent course, which teaches you how to close every single serious buyer that calls on the phone or emails. This certified team agent course is taught by Jeff Cohn, one of America's top agents, on how to build a team from zero to hero to hundreds and hundreds of units every year, step by step. It's like a 12-hour course, plus 7 other courses. Yes, you heard that right. All for a measly $127 a month. If you were to go to Rebus University and buy these courses individually, it costs you over $10,000. But today, if you go to futureofrealestatetraining.com, that's futureofrealestatetraining.com, you'll learn what Bill Reeg did, which is how to close 100% of the listing appointments you go on. Quite impressive. And you'll learn all the other incredible details provided in the 11 5-star courses that are offered. Yeah, it's like all you can eat bazaar. You go in now and you pay $127 a month. If you can eat all 11 courses in 1 month, that's all you pay is $197. This is a bargain, guys. Get it now. futureofrealestatetraining.com.
Hey, welcome to Real Estate Rockstars. Today we have got an amazing guest, the billion-dollar man, Eric. $1 billion in annual sales, and the agent that is responsible for it, Eric Benaim. Hey, before we bring Eric on the show, I wanted to introduce today's hosts, myself, Matt O'Neill, and my very good friend, Adam Roach. Adam.
Yo, here I am. Wait,
hey,
can we go back to that billion? Oh, I'm super excited for this, Matt.
Yeah, today is going to be fire. So Adam and I are good friends with the creator of Real Estate Rockstars podcast, Pat Hyben. Pat lives in our town. And Eric, Adam, you've known Pat longer than me. So how did you meet Pat?
So let's see here. I met Pat actually through the group that you and I belong to called GoBundance. I met him in, when was that? 2014, I believe it was. Somewhere in Colorado. We were all getting the goods in the woods, skiing, and I think we were masterminding actually with Robert Kiyosaki that year. It was really, really cool. And so I got to know Pat really well. And now he lives in our backyard. Really cool.
Yeah, so I'm going to the gym at 5 a.m. every morning. And there's one dude that beats me there every morning, and it's Adam Roach. And we didn't know.
Pat? Oh, no, it wasn't.
No. Well, Pat's in good shape, but every morning you would be at the gym. I'd get there at 5 a.m. And we ended up one day I was like, dude, we're the only two people in this gym every day. You want to work out together? Mm-hmm. And we started a great friendship, Adam and I, at that point. And Adam was like, oh, hey, I'm going up to Aspen or wherever you were going. And I'm hanging out with Robert Kiyosaki and Pat Hyben and all these amazing people. You should come with me. And 4 years later, I said, let's do it.
He did. He did.
And that's how I met. That's how I met Pat Hyben, and that's how Adam and I started working together. And now here we are hosting Real Estate Rockstars, about to bring on a $1 billion a year agent.
And it's going to be an incredible, incredible interview. Hey, before we do that, Matt, do you remember back in the day when we were working out? Let's give the audience a little visual here. We worked out in a gym that might have been, how many square feet do you think it was?
Yeah, it's about the size of a normal living room.
If that. And it was back in the days of the Beachbody where they were on the DVDs, and I would bring my laptop in and we would put it on the dumbbell area, and we would open it up and put the DVD in, and we would do our workout with the laptop on the dumbbells when no one else was in the gym. Remember that? Oh
yeah. Sean T and Sean T90X.
Yeah. Good times. Well, hey, I'm super excited about Eric today. You ready to bring him in?
Well, people may not know this, but Adam, the reason why you're qualified to be a host on this podcast is that you grew a real estate office yourself from 360 million to 800 million in just 4 years' time. And I don't think people who are here listening to Real Estate Rockstars know what a rock star you are to be host here.
Well, I appreciate that, Matt. But hey, listen, why don't we give it right back to you? I mean, where were you 4 years ago? We were doing what, about $40 million in sales, if right. That. And where'd you finish last year? $225 million. So, hey, listen, buddy, I appreciate that. And that's why you're a rock star host on Real Estate Rockstars too.
Well, and now let's go ahead and bring on the guy that beat both of us.
Both of us, but not combined, Matt. And that's why we're the host here, and that's why he is being interviewed. That's right. Yeah.
All right. Hey, let's bring on our guest today, the $1 billion man, Eric Benaim.
Hey guys, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Eric, thanks for being here, man. We're super excited.
Hey, Eric, to get started, let's just have you tell the audience about yourself.
Sure. So I started my firm about almost 12 years ago. I started a company at the time based in Long Island City. I'm a Queens boy, born and raised in Queens my whole life. I've been in the business for 19 years. And about 2005, 2006, I was a Manhattan agent. And about 2005, 2006, I kind of realized that nobody was really focusing on Queens, and especially Long Island City, Queens. And I decided to make this my niche. And since then, I've started my firm. We have a 70% market share over here.
Wait, Eric. I don't know if people might have heard that. What percent market share?
I think it's 7, Matt. You say 7?
70%.
70.
70% of the market chooses to work with you. And you said something else. You said you niched to get rich.
Exactly. I niched to get rich. And so by 2018, actually, my neighborhood, Long Island City, was named the fastest growing neighborhood in America. And so we've been growing with this neighborhood. We work with a lot of developers, and we do about $1 billion a year in transactions.
Wow. Well, and let's get into those numbers here.
Sure.
How many homes or units is that a year to sell $1 billion?
So far this year, we've probably sold somewhere between, 2019, I should say. I'm still in the 2019 mind frame. So in 2019, we sold, I think, just under 700 units.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Man, that's great. And then, so we knew that the gross volume was $1 billion for those 700 units. And then what was the gross commissions and what was the profit margin?
So gross commissions is probably in the $20 million range. And then profit margin is probably 25 to 30% of that.
That's super strong.
That's amazing.
That's really, really strong.
So that's looking like $6 million in profit a year, roughly.
Yeah, in gross profit. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Congratulations. That's amazing.
That's awesome.
What percent of your business is listings versus buyers?
I would think, again, probably anywhere from 70 to 80%. So we work with developers. So we usually get the listing, the project, before it's even built. So we have a pipeline now. So we have a pipeline for the next 3 years of about maybe 7,000 units. So we already know this year we're putting online X amount of units. Next year we're putting online X amount of units. So we kind of like know what our pipeline is already. And that kind of, we're able to also project how many sales we're going to do, sales or rentals.
Hey, Eric, let me ask you a question around that, because again, a lot of our listeners, that's a great strategy to go out and get into a relationship with a developer. Is that specific to New York, or would you suggest that people do that all over the country?
I would suggest people do that all around the country. And there's other markets now that are kind of like picking up what we do here in New York, like Miami and LA and a lot of those kinds of markets. It's, we're the ones, the agents are the ones who are selling the product. We're the ones who are getting the feedback from the buyers, what they like, what they don't like. If something is too big or too small or whatever kind of kitchens, if you take that information and you provide that to a developer or a builder or whatever and tell them, listen, this is what the market wants. They want this many rooms and this is the size rooms you can make them and this is the types of kitchens you want. That's valuable information that'll help that builder or developer build something that'll sell quicker and also get more money. So that knowledge is super valuable, and it's what we pride ourselves on.
So let me make sure I heard you right. So you help the developer based on what the market statistics are selling or are saying, and you go to them and say, hey, listen, here's what's selling. Maybe you should build this. Is that right?
Correct. So we have like a research team now. Hello?
Yeah, we're with you.
Okay. So we have like a research team, and we track every single deal, every single project, not just in this market, but other markets. So we know who our competitors are also. And then we could say, okay, well, this month we sold, 51 bedrooms. So the 1-bedroom market is moving, right? And we could say, well, you know what? We see and 1-bedroom people are coming from students who are renting, for example. Now they want to buy, or maybe their parents are giving them a deposit or whatever. So we're seeing a trend in students buying. So maybe when you're planning your project, maybe put more 1-bedrooms. And, we don't think that you should make 1-bedrooms this big. They should be smaller. So if they're smaller, you're able to build X amount of square feet. That means you could build more 1-bedrooms, basically, or whatever it is. And that's kind of like what makes us stick apart from our competitors.
I love it. And I'd like to dive in deeper on this too, because getting in touch with developers or builders. So in some markets, they're not going to be developing giant condo complexes, but they may be building neighborhoods.
Correct.
How did you start that process? How did you start to get in, set the appointments, find the developers, and start building these relationships?
We started about 11 years ago when we hired our first intern, and I had to keep this intern busy. And I was like, okay, what do I gotta do? I got like stressed. I gotta keep her doing things. I was like, you know what? Why don't you create like a market report? So she just took all the deals we did, and she's like, okay, this is how many ones, twos, threes we sold. This is what price we started doing it. And we had a handful at the time. And I just started like sending it out to everybody I knew. And all of a sudden I started getting calls, and people were like, wow, so you know this information. I'm looking to build something. What do you suggest? And using press, I mean, I strongly believe in PR. And just getting the word out there of this little market report, which started small. It's now something that banks and lenders and investors, they come to us because they won't want, developers come to us and they tell us, listen, I need your info, I need your data, I need your information to help get an investor or a bank on board or whatever. And that information is really valuable. And the bank, they come to us all the time. They're like, listen, we want to give money to this guy, but we want to know our money is secured and he's doing this. I'm like, well, you got to make an introduction. I'm happy to give information. And they make the introduction, and I start working with the developer, and that's kind of like how it works. And now it's a lot of referrals because we've had a lot of successes. So we had a lot of repeat business. Developers refer their developer friends to us. Architects who work with us have good experiences, so they refer their clients to us only because they want to make a good product, and they know if they work with us, they'll make a good product. And that's kind of like how we've been able to grow our business.
Genius. Wow. Yeah. Genius. I mean, to send a newsletter to developers, I mean, it's on what to do. That's genius.
Thanks.
Come on, Matt, can we go back to this billion? Makes sense now, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, I love it.
TribeOfMillionaires.com. Guys, write that down. Rockstar Nation got a free special offer for you. Now, I've just written a book, and it's just been published. Co-authored it with David Osborne, who's been on this show multiple times. If you don't know David, he is one of the top execs at Keller Williams Real Estate, was personally mentored for the last 2 decades by Gary Keller himself, and he's in all kinds of businesses. His bio and explanation and everything is in this book. But anyways, David and I got together. We decided to write a book. We called it Tribe of Millionaires. And I guarantee you, it's going to change your life. To find out more, just go to tribeofmillionaires.com. We're going to give it to you absolutely free. Only thing we ask in return is, of course, number one, you pay the shipping. Not a big deal. But number two, that you go on Amazon and write us a review. We're really looking to get an incredible amount of reviews, and because of that, we're giving this book away for free. Go to tribeofmillionaires.com today. Hey, real estate agents and rock stars. If you're getting value out of the content in this episode, make sure you like the video and subscribe to this channel. Also, click the little bell icon to be notified about upcoming episodes. And I would also love it if you left a comment and shared the most impactful tips and tactics you've learned from the knowledge shared in this episode, or even maybe make a suggestion requesting a topic of what you'd like to learn in future episodes. I welcome any feedback below. Now, back to the episode.
So that's the number one source to your business, it sounds like, correct? Is developers and builders?
Yep.
And we just went into how you get into that business. What do you think that somebody who's in a different market who might be listening to this, what do you think they could do today to start working with developers and builders if they had to start from scratch?
I mean, I think I'm a good example because we were a tiny neighborhood at the time. No one even heard of us, and just owning it. You know, you have some people who are like, oh, especially in New York City, oh, they want to work on the fancy stuff in like Manhattan or wherever, right? I'm like, no, I want to own where I am, and I own this market. And wherever you are, if you're in Colorado or Kentucky, right, just own the market you're in and know everything about that market, who the buyers are. And if you can take that information and package it nice, make a nice report, and be able to sell it yourself as the expert of that market to a builder. Maybe it's somebody who's doing a single family home as like a spec home. So you can give him the right information to build that right spec home. And if you're selling, you get money for him more money for him than he thought he can get. Guess what? He's going to build more spec homes. And the contractor who's building it is going to see the job and how you're involved. He's going to start recommending people to you. So just taking what you own and that information, be able to package it nice and selling it is huge, I think.
And so let's dive into package it nice, because there's going to be a lot of people who are listening to this saying, I want to do exactly what he's saying. Mm-hmm. What do you mean by package it nice? What would that look like to somebody?
Oh, it's probably like wrapping paper, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Just make some really fancy looking pie charts and graphs and make it sound like you really know what you're talking about. Eventually you will, right? Yeah, right. Because, in the beginning, I didn't know what I was doing and I was winging it most of the time. And I learned from actually doing, and I strongly believe in that. I didn't go to college or anything. So it's not like I went to architectural school or planning school or anything like that. I learned as I went, and I became an expert as I went. And doing that and growing that business that way is huge.
And how often do you think it would be a good idea to publish this data?
So we do it every quarterly.
Yep.
But we give, like, I guess, simple information that we publish quarterly. And it's anything from sending it to local blog, right? Mm-hmm. To just creating your own, like, little e-blast of people who you know, sending it to the banks or anybody like that, architects in the neighborhood who maybe you don't know, but just call them up. Be like, hey, I have this information. If you're building a spec house or an apartment building or whatever, here's some information that might help you out. And getting it out that way, I think you'll see returns really soon.
Man, you know what I love that I just heard Eric say is so many realtors that listen are ready, aim, fire type people, right? And what I heard Eric say is he was ready and he just fired and then he started aiming.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you took action, man. You took action. That was incredible. And clearly it's showing now in your production. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'd love to dive a little bit into what you're spending on, and I'm sure staff is a big piece of it.
Yep.
But as we look at that spend and it from 20 million in commission income to 6 million in profit, you've got 14 million a year in spend. What's the breakdown? Where does that money typically go?
Staff, office space, marketing. We do a lot of events. We do various types of things. It's just, what do you call it? I like to present myself very nicely. And listen, I know I'm not the biggest company in New York City, but I'm still competing with the biggest companies in New York City. So if they're doing whatever they're doing, my stuff has got to look killer because I got to outspend them. I got to maneuver them, and I got to make my stuff look way better than them. And my pitch is very easy. My pitch is, I'm happy to share my pitch. My pitch is, you're the biggest, I know you're meeting with the biggest company in the city, whatever that company or whoever that bigger company is in whatever market you're in. But guess what? You're client number 151 to them. To me, you're client number one. I'm focusing all my time on you. To them, you're just another client. You're just another number. But to me, you're my priority. And having that way of thinking and actually delivering, not just talking it, but actually delivering it is huge. And I think people start building a respect and trust with you that we have like tons of return customers because of that.
That was a killer line. And a lot of the people who are listening to this podcast are early in their real estate career, and they are going up against the agent that's been doing it 19 years, selling $1 billion a year like you. Mm-hmm. And they'd say, I know that you're interviewing these guys who are bigger, but you're just a number to them. You're number 151 to them. But to me, you're client number one. Man,
good nugget. Great nugget. Yeah,
that was a killer takeaway. So let's talk about some stuff that you're excited about. I know that you said that you've got a podcast that you're launching. Tell us a little bit about the podcast.
Yeah, so we're about to launch our podcast in about 2 weeks. It's called See You in Queens, Queens QNS. So it's going to be on iTunes or wherever else you get podcasts from. And it's going to be everything about Queens. So it's not just real estate. We have politicians, we have business owners, we have restaurant people. We're going to have artists, just various types of people on the podcast who are a part of it. We have we started it off with somebody who's running against the senator who killed the Amazon deal. So we were in a neighborhood that became famous because Amazon chose us as for their new headquarters, the HQ2. And unfortunately, they pulled out after 3 months. And it was because of several politicians. And because of that, some other people who've thrown their hat in the ring to primary them. So we have those people as guests. We're going to have real estate people, just a various type of people on the show.
I love it. So the podcast is See You in Queens, Q&A. Yep. Yeah, that's awesome. So people who are loving what they're hearing here, definitely check Eric out on that podcast.
Thank you.
We're moving into failures. Tell us about a failure that you've had that was painful at the time, but as you look back at it today, was actually a success or a learning experience.
Sure. So I think probably our biggest failure was in probably 2011. We were on top of the world. And we at that time is when we really conquered this neighborhood, and we thought we can conquer Brooklyn. And we opened up a 5,000 square foot office on the waterfront of Williamsburg. And unfortunately, it didn't really go as planned. We probably lost like $1 million in that office. And we came in with big egos, but we came in a blazing. We had like a coffee shop in our office space, and we spent like about $1 million just building out that office, right? And it was just, what do you call it? We weren't the big guys that we were here, so it was hard to conquer, and unfortunately, we had to close that office. But since then, it was a big learning experience. Not going to go into new markets unless I know I have a stable ground. We're about to actually go into a new market, so we're going into Jersey City. So Jersey City, New Jersey is on the other side of the river. It's a booming area. We're only going in there because we have a pipeline now over there, new development projects. We have 1,800 units in the pipeline in Jersey City. And we're launching our first project in about a month. It's a 132 unit rental project over there. And we already assembled a team of 5. And so we're growing that over there. And we already have like the pipeline of listings that can feed these 5 agents, and we'll grow that organically. I probably would have, wouldn't have done that if I hadn't learned from Brooklyn. I might have just opened up randomly wherever. But because Williamsburg office wasn't really that great for us, we decided to take our time. We've had our eye on Jersey City for about 4 years now, and we're about to make this move. So we're excited about it.
So what I heard you say there was you winged it the first time. You lost $1 million, which was extremely probably painful.
Yeah, very painful.
and then go. So again, I think this is great for our listeners to hear, because you didn't go right away and try to do it again. You went back to where you were the king and stayed there for a while, right? And I think I heard you say 4 more years, right, before you launched this one. And so you went deeper into where you were already king. And then once you started getting traction somewhere else, then you thought about expanding again. Is that right?
Yep, that's exactly it.
Because Matt, a lot of agents these days, they think they can go expand real fast. They think they can go duplicate themselves real fast. That's not always the case. And clearly, Eric just told us $1 million loss.
No, it's definitely not fun. And you know what? Some agents, they see other agents on TV or read about them or whatever, and they're like, oh, I could be that person. And maybe they want to work in a nice big city or whatever the case may be. But if you're an expert in your area and you're just a king of that area, that's nothing to be ashamed of, and that's something to actually be proud of. Sorry about that. And that's something to be proud of, actually. So I'd rather have a big piece of a pie of a smaller area than be a speck of something big where I'm actually a number. And now I'm like, people are coming to me because I have a huge share over here, is the reason they want to list with us. Our agents, these bigger companies, they go and they have huge pitch packages and they come with their comps and all that stuff. Our agents just go into the listing with a resale or whatever, an owner, and they literally say, we're worth Modern Spaces. And the owners are like, where do I sign? Because they know we dominate this market over here.
That's right. Seven out of all 10 homes are sold by you.
Yes.
That's
so if you moved,
70%.
If you bought or rented a home in the last 7 or 8 years in Long Island City, there was a 70% chance you bought it through us.
That's huge. So what advice would you give to a rookie agent? Like, what advice would you give to yourself as a rookie agent now, with everything you know now? What would you tell yourself when you were starting?
When I first started, I wasn't focused. I didn't have a niche, and I was just everywhere. I was showing walk-up rentals on the Upper East Side to like crappy apartments in the East Village to like anything and anywhere, trying to pitch things that was way above what I was able to do at the time. And I only started actually being successful, making money, and making a name for myself when I started focusing on a niche. And getting rich off a niche is not bad. And I definitely dominated this market over here. And that I would just do that. Just pick a niche, whatever it is. Maybe you're the single family king or queen, or maybe you want to, if you're in Colorado, maybe they have, I don't know, mountain houses on the mountain or ranches or whatever it is over there. Just pick that specific type of niche, focus on it, and be laser focused on it, and just kill it. And then grow from there, but kill it.
Yeah, I love that. And part of this, and I'll just add to it based on the story you've told us, part of killing it in that niche is knowing the data in that niche better than everybody.
Yeah.
So that you can communicate that data out, that you really are the expert in that niche, so that people want to work with you there.
Yeah, exactly.
So last question here, and unless Adam, you have something else to ask, but if you had a magic pill that could remove one source of pain from your business right now, what would it be?
Wow. If I had a magic, what would that one pain be?
What would be the pain you would remove?
What would be the pain I would remove? That's a really tough one. You know what it is? It's very, because we were in the limelight because of Amazon. So in the last year, I probably had like 3 or 4 different competitors coming to this neighborhood, and everyone's trying to come at the king. And so I would probably try to capture more market share. And there were probably some mistakes I made where I came in and I turned down business, maybe because it was too small, or maybe I just didn't want to deal with the person. And I probably would just take it just to capture as much market share as possible. And that's probably what it would be. It would just be like, if I could do certain things over again, I would probably, one of the mistakes I did when I first opened up, I didn't hire a PR agency to give myself PR. And I didn't really think of PR and press. And I probably didn't do that until like year 2 or 3. And if I would have done that from like year 1, I probably would have been a lot bigger than I am now. I have to be, like my PR agency knows, I have to be literally on every single article that talks about this neighborhood. They need to mention me. And if I'm not in every article, that kind of like pisses me off, to be perfectly honest. And just focusing on the power of press and the power of just getting yourself out there. And, you know, we do a lot of stuff with the community over here. And, you know, we do about 30 events a year with the community. When we do these events, we're not having a table with showing our listings. I really don't want, no one's coming to a party or a food festival, whatever, to come talk to you about a listing. But if you just give out something with your brand on it, and just like basically almost like brainwashing people, like this is the person, this is the person, this is the person, rather than having, like I see in people where we're at an event and another competitor has a table and they have like a list of all their listings. We are probably giving out like Frisbees, or we're giving out like popcorn with our brand on the popcorn case, or whatever it is what we're doing. And we're just getting our brand out. So when people think of Long Island City, they think of Modern Spaces. So doing that, and not just always thinking about the actual dollar and the closing, but just thinking about getting your name out there. Whereas somebody thinks of you, they think of whatever market you're in. Those are really important, I think.
That was great. That was massive. You know what, Eric, I love that you went back and you said, I would take even more market share. I mean, come on, 7 out of 10 homes and you want more. And I love that because at the end of the day, it's so true. You got to go so deep. And I had a mentor tell me this one time. He said, go so deep in the space that you are that knocks over your next domino of opportunity, not your energy and your persuasion, right? Mm-hmm. You go so deep in your space that it's going to knock over that next domino, not your energy and your persuasion. And man, I want to have a conversation with you at the end of this year to see if you're at 90%. That'd be really cool.
That's good. That's our goal.
Okay, good. 90%. That is awesome. Well, Matt, what else do we have here?
You know, I'm inspired, Eric. You were an inspiration. You were a total badass, or better yet, a total real estate rock star. Thank you so much for taking your time and being on the show today. I know I got a lot out of it, and I'm sure our audience got a ton out of it. Absolutely.
Hey, real quick. Hey, all of our listeners now, here's what we want to do. We want to help Eric get to that 90%. So, Eric, how do people send your referrals in your dominated space?
So you can reach me either at my email, Eric, ERIC, at modernspacesnyc.com, or find me on Instagram, Eric Benaim, at Eric Benaim, or on Facebook or Twitter, at Eric Benaim.
How do you spell your last name?
Benaim.
Perfect.
Thank you.
90%. We're going to check this out.
Thank you, man.
All right. See you, Eric.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
all right. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
I want you to think about the word toolbox. What is a toolbox? A toolbox is a box full of tools that you use to build something great. At Real Estate Rockstars, we've created our own free toolbox. So everybody that comes on the show as a guest brings a tool with them, and we plow them all into this toolbox, and we give it away for our viewing audience to basically use as they wish. Everything we put in there is an actionable item that can be downloaded, can be printed, can be used immediately. And we got things like scripts and dialogues, checklists for teams, checklists to keep agents accountable, referral forms that are filled out at settlement to get referrals by your buyers and sellers. Everything you could think of that you could use on a regular basis about real estate is included in this toolbox, and it's helping agents worldwide sell more houses and make their jobs a lot easier and processes much more efficient. And the thing is, it's absolutely free. All you got to do is go to hibandigital.com/toolbox or text the word toolbox to 444-999. That's toolbox 444-999. Do it now. Rockstar Nation, thank you for listening to Real Estate Rockstars. Listen, I need a favor. If you find this free content helpful, if you find our downloadable items from each guest helpful, please, I need you to pull out your pointing finger. Yes, the one finger that points at people, and hit subscribe. Yes, subscribe. The more subscribers we get, the better we look in the ratings, and the easier it is to get guests like Robert Kiyosaki, Barbara Corcoran, all the players that are on $1 million listing in the different cities. All that stuff makes it easier the more subscribers we get, so please subscribe. And listen, there's a lot of places you can leave comments. There's a lot of places you can like. We're on Facebook. We have an Instagram page. Instagram page is I am Pat Hyben. The Facebook is Real Estate Rockstars Radio. Feel free to leave us comments there. The most popular form of commenting seems to happen on YouTube. Yes, for whatever reason, it's a very open environment. So just go to YouTube and go to Real Estate Rockstars Radio. Leave us comments there. Some of them we will read on the show. We love your feedback. So thanks, guys, and I hope you are having a great day. Oh, and also, listen, if you're going to subscribe and you haven't already left a review on iTunes, please do that too. Have a great day, and thanks so much, Rockstar Nation. I really appreciate you.